Hello, everyone. If anyone would have asked you what a seesaw World Cup contest look like, I think this would be it. What a match we have had today at Dharamshala between Australia and New Zealand. This is exactly what we wanted. I wish these kind of matches should have happened at the beginning of the tournament. I'm sure the World Cup would have been on fire by now. But what a weekend we are having, or rather, the match between South Africa and Pakistan was extremely exciting yesterday. And today, New Zealand, Australia, it went down to the wire. Though Australia scored 388, New Zealand almost chased it down. What a fantastic finish to the game. So I have Sachin with me. I'm going to ask him a couple of questions about this game, about this exciting game, perhaps the best match of the tournament. The tournament is getting better and better every day. Okay. So Sachin, I have two questions for you. One,
Yeah, Sandeep, go ahead.
I was wondering, New Zealand were almost close to win the game, and they could not win the game. Do you think, as a coach or as a captain of New Zealand team, would you have done anything differently to change the result of the game?
Yes, I think there are a couple of things that I would have done differently. One is it was beyond me why Tom Latham came in before Glenn Phillips when they're chasing 389. When Tom Latham is a good one-day player, but he's not one of those who can hit the ball from the word go. He doesn't have that hitting prowess that Glenn Phillips has. Obviously, we all know Phillips is a tremendous T20 player. So that kind of batting was needed at that point of time. So you wanted a person who can come and hit it right away. I think Tom Latham scored some 20 odd runs on some 20 odd balls. I think the difference between balls and runs was about just about two or three. I think at that point of time they needed a person who could have come in, would have taken 20 balls and hit 35 runs. That shifts the momentum. What happens is that when you lose a wicket, especially in one-day cricket, when you lose a wicket, your 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 run rate comes down. But when you're chasing 388, 389, then you cannot afford such hiccups. So I think that was they missed a trick over there, and I think another thing that happened with the New Zealand is that uh, when Del Mitchell and Rachin Ravindra, they had a pretty big partnership. I think when you're chasing such a big score, then when you are when you're set, suppose you have partnership of 50, 75, and you're set, you know, you're you are watching the ball like a football, cricket ball like a football, as they say. Then you have to accelerate beyond the point. You have to then because you're set, and if you get out, the new person comes in, then that person will take some bit of time. So what you have to do is you have to come come up with some big overs, like 20 runs, 30 runs from an over. I know it sounds big, but on such a Pata wicket, such a good wicket, you are set. You can hit a bowler for 20 runs, 30 runs in an over. So you have to produce those big overs, and they did not go for that. What if you would have seen the match here, carefully, and you would have noticed that they maintained a run rate of 7 all throughout. They never went beyond 7, say
Yeah.
7.5 or 8. They could have touched 7.5 or 8 when those two guys were set, but they did not go for the kill, as you would say. So I think that there they missed a trick because there is no point in preserving your wickets in such a big chase. So I think they missed a couple of tricks.
Absolutely. No, I completely in agreement with you. Also, one more point here. Jimmy Nisham bowled the 47th over and he went for 27 runs. Pat Cummins had hit him out of the park, 4 sixes. I agree that Lockie Ferguson got injured and then perhaps there was no other option. Do you think, as a captain, you would have done anything differently there?
No, I don't think so. I would have done anything different because Matt Henry was the other option, and Matt Henry is like Hazelwood. He's a pretty good new ball bowler, though he got tonked around today because it was flat track. There was hardly any swing. He's a very good new ball bowler. He bowls length like Hazelwood. So bowling length in slog overs becomes, you know, it's death knell for you as a bowler because you batsmen wait for that, for length, so that they can, go deep in the crease and tonk you around over mid wicket or long on. So I don't think Latham had many options over there. In my view, Latham preferred Ignatium over Henry because his experience in IPL. He has some experience in IPL. He knows Indian wickets better than Henry. And Henry, as I said, is not a very good death bowler. Nisham, plays around the world, franchise cricket. He bowls
Sure.
at the death. So I think his experience plus his, he since he's aware of the conditions, kind of tilted the scale in his favor. So I don't think I would have done anything different.
Sure, fair point. But coming back to Australia, if you score 388, 10 out of 10 times, you would expect the side to win that game reasonably convincingly. However, it was not the case though today with Australia. Why is the Australian bowling struggling? And I've seen Mitchell Stark. He bowled a wide and it went for 5 runs. Had he not bowled that wide, perhaps the match wouldn't have been this closer. You never know. You never know though. So what's wrong with the Australian attack?
Well, in my view, in fact, we discussed Sandeep, you and I discussed this thing earlier as well. I think in one of the earlier videos, that what is ailing Australia? I think the main problem that Australia is facing, they do not have a specialist second spinner. And it's imperative to have a second specialist spinner in Indian conditions. Maxwell is a batting all rounder, he's a part time spinner. I don't think he qualifies as an all rounder. He's a batsman who can bowl. So counting Maxwell as your second spinner, and mind you, although Maxwell has not been tongued around, people might say that he has not been tongued around in the tournament. How can you say that? Spinner is not a containment option in India. Spinner is a wicket taking option. As we have seen with Adam Zampa, Zampa was the bowler who brought them back in the match today because
Yeah.
he was looking threatening. We could see that New Zealand is careful while playing Zampa. They knew that if they are going to go all out against Zampa, they can lose few wickets to him. So they were careful. So if Australia would have got second spinner, I don't think the match would have gone that close. So Australia is missing this second specialist spinner in this tournament. They're not playing as fifth specialist bowler. On such flat tracks, you need to have a fifth specialist bowler. And in Indian conditions, you need to have a fifth specialist bowler as your second spinning option. So I think that's why we have seen Australian bowlers are getting tongued around. Throughout the tournament, they have been tongued around, barring the Netherlands match. Obviously, Netherlands is a minnow of sorts. So you cannot read much, too much into that performance. So Australian bowling lacks that second option. Coming to Mitchell Stark is not as good as he used to be. We need to understand that. Mitchell Stark, if you see, he's not Hazelwood. He's not that good with new ball. His indipers are not going. He's he's not looking like Dilshan Madhushanka or Shaheen Shah Afridi or Trent Bolt. These guys get the ball to move in. I don't think I've seen that with Mitchell Stark in this
No,
tournament.
no.
So it's possible because other bowlers are doing it. With Dilshan Madhushanka has done it throughout the tournament. Trent Bolt has done it throughout the tournament. But Mitchell Stark is not getting that swing. So he's not looking threatening with new ball. Plus, he's not that potent as he used to be with the old ball or in the death. In the death, he's getting tonked around. So Mitchell Stark is playing on his reputation, in my opinion. You never know. Australia probably will have to look for options if he continues to play like this going ahead. But I think Mitchell Stark needs to step up a bit.
So absolutely. So Pat Cummins bowled slightly better though today. He picked up 2 wickets, and then even Hazelwood, though he was expensive at the end at the death, but I think he's a pretty good new ball bowler, as you rightly pointed out. So now Australia is sitting at number 4 in the points table, New Zealand up at number 3, India at number 2, and then South Africa at number 1. So we have an exciting game coming up tomorrow. Exciting because it's India and England. It is because it's India's game. England is at the bottom of the table. As an Indian fan, we would want India to win. Okay, we're going to make another video on that, India versus England. But however, thank you very much. Australia, of course, have won, but it was a great contest. It was a nail-biting finish. So see you soon with our next video. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.